to identify all required variances accurately on the application, to either add a new variance or increase the extent of the variance requested. It must be given in accordance with the Planning Act and may require the application to be recirculated for the next hearing date at a cost to the applicant at the prescribed fee. If an applicant amends their plans with no impact to the variances or to reduce the variance requested, recirculation may not be required. Appealing a decision of the committee. Decisions of the Committee of Adjustment may be appealed to the Ontario Land Tribunal for a fee within 20 days of the date of the written decision. Only the applicant, the minister, or a specified person or public body that has an interest in the matter may appeal the decision. A specified person does not include an individual or community association. As part of the statutory notification requirements, each applicant was required to post a sign on the property and file a statutory declaration confirming the sign posting. This declaration must be on file today before we can hear the application. Without it, I may have to adjourn the application or administer an oath if necessary. Can the coordinator confirm that we have received all the statutory declarations?
No declarations have been received.
Thank you very much. I will administer the oath to each applicant. The committee may ask for a brief presentation of the application, followed by questions from members and submissions from the public. Please address your comments to the chair, starting with your name and spelling it if necessary, and your municipal address for the record. The committee limits presentations to 5 minutes. Any exceptions will be at the chair's discretion. And before we begin, we have 2 items of business. Does any member present need to declare an interest in any of the applications that are before us today or that are on another committee panel? No declarations of interest? Thank you very much. We also have to adopt the minutes of April 5th and April 19. I'd like to ask the panel to adopt both minutes. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Those minutes are adopted. We will now hear the application scheduled for this hearing, and we'll first deal with any items that may be adjourned. I understand there's one item that is being asked to be adjourned, and that is 3575 Paden Road. And I'm looking for Mr. Price. Are you available, sir? Good morning, Mr. Price.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Rod Price on behalf of the owner, 3575 Paden Road.
I understand that there's an adjournment request by the planning department for this application. Do you agree with that adjournment request?
I do not, Mr. Chair. I believe the adjournment request is the standard adjournment request that has been requested for rural severances based on the OP policies that the OP team are supposed to be addressing and fixing, I guess due to extreme workloads and work programs that has not yet taken place. That being said, similar to other rural severances that have been approved in the last number of months, I think this can be conditioned such that, this thing can move forward.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Teeth, do you have any comments on behalf of the city?
Yes, it's the applicant is correct. It's just an objection over the OP policies as before.
Okay, so I think that we'd like to hear this one. All panel members in favor of hearing this application, please raise your hands. Okay, so we'll hear that in order, and you're up first, Mr. Price.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I need to swear the oath.
You certainly do. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
I do swear, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I note that planning has no concerns with this application. I also note that our conservation partners don't have any concerns about this application. I also note that there are 6 conditions on this application. Do you agree with those conditions, Mr. Price?
I do, Mr. Chair. I have no issue whatsoever.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments, Mr. Teeth, on this application?
Yes, thank you. So planning has no concerns. I will note that the EIS that was supplied was done under the old OP, but for this application, we believe it's still relevant and satisfies all of our concerns here. That's about it.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to ask our conservation partners for any comments they may have with respect to this application.
The RVCA has no objections to the application. Does note that there are some features nearby, but the application satisfies our concerns.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the panel for approval of this application with all 6 conditions. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved.
I think Mr. Price had something.
Hey, you wanna say-
Just a quick question. It's probably the wrong format, but as you know, I undertake a number of these rural severances. If, whether it's Mr. Harrigan or Mr. Teeth, or somebody could please let us know when we can expect this policy to be changed, because it's, I understand it's out of their hands, but if somebody could just let us know where in the work program this stands. The OP was approved back in November, and we're almost June, and this still hasn't been addressed. So I'll take that up in another way, I guess.
Okay,
But more importantly, it's the current member's last day. I just wanted to thank everybody for their service. It's been a pleasure being in front of you for the last number of years, depending on which member. So, it's an important role that you nice folks take on to serve the community. So I just want you to know it's great.
thank
Good
you,
luck,
Mr. Price.
and hope that our paths cross again. Thanks.
Thank you. Now moving on to application number 2. Application number 2 has to do with 2992 Beaman Lane. I'm looking for Mr. Jonah Bond. Good morning, Mr. Bond. You're muted, sir.
I know. Okay, there we are.
you are.
How
Good
are you?
stuff.
Sorry. Good morning. I'm live.
Good stuff. I'd like to administer the oath concerning the signposting this morning. Can you take that oath?
I can indeed.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
I do so affirm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to note for the panel that planning has no concerns and our conservation partners have no concerns. I'd like to ask the conservation partners to please give me their comments. Mr. Graham? Sorry, Mr. Lalonde.
All right, sorry about that. Yeah, so the RVCA has no objections to the application. The proposal as it's before you has gone to the RVCA and has received a permit for the development to proceed. That permit was on the basis that as part of the roof reconstruction, the second story that's been added, the amount of livable floor area was within the policies supportable by the RVCA policies, and that the additional space, which I believe is the difference between the livable area and the requested minor variance, is storage space that was below the threshold for livable space. That ultimately is why the RVCA was able to approve the permit. There are no concerns with the project from our end.
Thank you very much. I'd now like to ask planning, Mr. Graham, for your comments.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, we also believe that the requested addition complies with our with the general intent of the official plan, with the zoning bylaw, and so we believe that it complies with the 4 tests. So we have no objections.
Thank you very much. I'd like to ask panel for approval of this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands. Your application is approved, Mr. Bond. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Moving on to applications number 3 and 4, having to do with 102 Lanigan Crescent. I'm looking for Amanda Sanford. Good morning, Ms. Sanford.
Good morning.
Can you take the oath concerning the sign posting this morning?
Yes, I can.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the notice provided by the committee was posted at the property to which the application applies for the prescribed number of days before the hearing as instructed and was clearly visible and legible during that time? Do you swear?
I'll affirm.
Thank you very much. I note for the committee that the planning department has no concerns with this application, and our conservation partners do not object to this application. I do note that there are 8 conditions should this application be approved. Now, Ms. Sanford, do you agree with those 8 conditions?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask our planning department for their comments.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, with the included 8 conditions, the planning department has no concerns. Forestry provided a few comments about the trees on the property, so the tree removal would have to be in compliance with the tree protection bylaw, but otherwise there are no concerns with the application as submitted.
Thank you, Mr. Graham. And I'd like to ask our conservation partners for their comments.
Through the chair, we do not identify any potential natural hazards associated with the subject lands, and we therefore have no concerns from a natural hazard perspective.
Thank you very much. We have 2 votes on this application. One is application number 3, consent application. I'd like to ask panel for approval of this application. All those in favor, please raise your hands.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
I just wanted to ask a quick question because I noticed an email came in this morning that the lot area had changed slightly, and I'm not sure if that has an effect on the applications. I just wanted to get clarification on that.
Mr.
Sure,
Graham?
thank you very much.
Sure. Or-
So per the survey, the pin was placed a meter away from the property corner because of the location of the trees. And as such, there was discrepancy between the survey and the draft reference plan. However, the draft reference plan is correct. We do have a lot area of 699.4 meters squared. Whereas the initial application showed on my site plan 683 meters squared.
Okay, but I think other than that change of the square meterage, I guess we'll call it, the lot area, it doesn't affect the applications, right?
No, that's correct. The application for the minor variance is to reduce the lot frontage on both applications, whereas the depth is maintained.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Now I'd like to ask for approval of the application number 3. All those in favor, please raise your hands. I'd like to ask for your approval panel of application number 4 with all 8 conditions. All those in favor, please raise your hands.
Just to clarify, Mr. Chair, I think application number 4 is the minor variance application, so the conditions wouldn't apply to that.
Thank you, sir.
But it's just conditional on the severance being approved, which.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think that ends. Thank you very much, Ms. Sanford. And that concludes our business today. And thank you all very much. This has been a great 4 years for me as chair of this committee. Thank you all very much for your help today and in the last 4 years. And we'll see each other sometime in the next little while. Thank you.
All the best on your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye now.